Hi boys and girls, welcome to English class. Today we are going to be studying compound and complex sentences. Different types of sentences, super exciting. It will help you also to express your thoughts better in English, being able to write sentences of different types. So you'll need your workbook, pages 279 and 280. So just as a quick review, remember that a clause is any group of words that has a subject and a verb. So these are all lists of potential clauses. And who remembers what are the two types of clauses? Independent and dependent. Very good. Let's go ahead and review what these are. So remember that independent clauses can stand alone. In other words, it's a complete thought, a complete sentence. For example, I went to 7-Eleven. I stayed home during the pandemic. My cat ate dinner. My dad baked cookies. Each of these sentences, each of these clauses have a complete thought. Now, compound sentences can be formed by combining two independent clauses with a coordinating conjunction, which are and, but, and, or. For example, you can ride the elevator, comma, or you can climb the stairs. Our two independent clauses here are, very good, you can ride the elevator, you can climb the stairs. Each of these are independent clauses. They're joined together by a comma and a coordinating conjunction. That's why this is a compound sentence. That's our first type of sentence. Another example. I went to the park and I saw a dog. What are the two independent clauses in this sentence? The first one is I went to the park. Second one is I saw a dog. Combine them together to form a compound sentence, joined with a conjunction. Just so you know, there should be a comma here. Yep, I went to the park, comma, and I saw a dog, because they are two independent clauses. Now let's talk about the second type of clause, the dependent clause. The dependent clause, like its name suggests, is dependent. Therefore, it cannot stand alone as a sentence, and it does not have a complete thought. Tell me if these sound like complete thoughts to you. When I sing, after I finish homework, because her brother is tall, kind of makes you wonder, so what? Like, give me more information. If you remember, dependent clause always starts with a subordinating conjunction, and it can come at the beginning or the end of a sentence. Here's a list of the common subordinating conjunctions that we worked with last week. After, although, as, because, since, before, if, though, unless, until, when, whenever, where, wherever, while. When I sing, so that is a dependent clause, right? After I finished homework, comma, I slept. This turns into an independent clause. Because her brother is tall, he can reach the bookshelf. I meant this combines the independent clause with the dependent clause to create a complex sentence. So a compound sentence has two or more independent clauses. Complex sentence has an independent clause and one or more dependent clause. Okay, for example, the red is independent and blue is dependent. I won't go on the ride unless you go with me. What is the subordinating conjunction here? Unless. Unless you go with me, comma, I won't go on the ride. This reminds us that if a dependent clause is in the beginning of a sentence, you put a comma. If a dependent clause comes at the end of a sentence, you do not put a comma. Other examples. After the bell rings, comma, the kids will flood the hallway. What is the subordinating conjunction here? After, very good. Another example. Once the tardy bell rings, comma, kids dash for their classes. Our subordinating conjunction is once. When class begins, comma, the students pay attention. Subordinating conjunction, when. So complex sentence, combines independent clause with a dependent clause. Compound sentence are just two or more independent clauses. Let's practice this. We're going to do page 279 together, the guided practice. And you're going to do page 280 independently, the independent practice, and you can skip apply and write today. So this is page 279. Underline the independent clause and circle the conjunction, coordinating or subordinating. So what are the coordinating conjunctions that we talked about? Very good. And the subordinating conjunctions we have here. Fill in the circle to tell whether each sentence is compound or complex. Number 1. Gustav Eiffel studied the science of metals while he was in school. What is our independent clause? An easy way to do this is find the conjunction first. So what is the conjunction here? While. Is that coordinating or subordinating? Subordinating. Let's circle that. So now it's easier for us to see. What is the independent clause? Gustav Eiffel studied the science of metals. Very good. That's a complete thought. Is this compound or complex? Because it's a combination of an independent clause and a dependent clause, which is while he was in school, I and D, it's complex. Okay. Number 2, when Eiffel finished school, his first job was designing a metal bridge. What is the conjunction here? When. Subordinating or coordinating? Subordinating. What's our independent clause? His first job was designing a metal bridge. Complete thought. And this is our dependent. I know it doesn't say to label it. I'm just doing it. It's good practice, right? And it helps us. So remember, if there's an independent and dependent clause, what kind of sentence is it? Complex. Very good. Number 3. Eiffel was successful and he became known as Europe's master metal builder. What is our conjunction here, ladies and gentlemen? And. Is this coordinating or subordinating? Coordinating. And what is our independent clause? Do we have more than one? Eiffel was successful. Yep. He became known as Europe's master metal builder. So we have 2 independent clauses in this sentence, unlike numbers 1 and 2. So then, what kind of sentence is this? 2 I's, compound. Very good. Next exercise. Combine the sentences using the conjunction in the parentheses. Write compound if it's a compound sentence and write complex if it's a complex sentence. Add a comma if needed, if necessary. Number 4. Our conjunction is or, which is what kind of conjunction? Coordinating. Such a tall building of wood would collapse, it would break in the wood. Let's go ahead and combine this sentence. Such a tall building of wood would collapse. What do we put next? Comma, or it would break in the wood. So what are our independent clauses here? Such a tall building of wood would collapse. Complete thought. It would break in the wood. Another complete thought. So we have 2 independent clauses, and the fact that we have a coordinating conjunction also tells us right away that this is what kind of sentence? Compound. Great. Number 5. Our conjunction is until. What kind of conjunction is that? Very good. It's a subordinating conjunction this time. So you already know right away this is going to be a complex sentence, right? Now let's go ahead and combine these sentences. There's 2 ways to do this. The first way, we can put the dependent clause in the beginning. Until they got better pay. And then what do we need? Comma. Men would not work on such a tall building. Here, the independent clause is men would not work on such a tall building. And here is the dependent. Therefore, it's complex. Or a second way you can write this sentence is men would not work on such a tall building. Do we need a comma? No, we don't, because we're putting the independent first. Until they got better pay. Both of these are complex sentences, okay? It's just the order is different. So here we have the independent moved here, the dependent moved to the end. So there's no comma. Cool. All right, go ahead and try the independent practice on your own. If you have questions, contact me. And that's it for English class, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your Monday, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.